I'm David Sandbeck. You're watching Minnesota Spectator News. There's a report by Ronan Bergman and Stephen Lee Myers, and I'm going to read their report on cyber attacks. On the morning of January 3rd, an email was sent from the Indonesian embassy in Australia to a member of the Prime Minister Scott Morrison's staff who worked on health and ecological issues. Attached, a Word document that aroused no immediate suspicions since the intended recipient knew the supposed sender. The attachment contained an invisible cyber attack tool called Area Body, which had never been detected before and had alarming new capabilities. Hackers who used it to remotely take over a computer could copy, delete, or create files and carry out extensive searches of the new device's data. And the tool had new ways of covering its tracks to avoid detection. Now, a cybersecurity company in Israel has identified Area Body as a weapon wielded by a group of hackers called Nyakon that has previously been traced to the Chinese military, and it was used against far more targets than the Australian Prime Minister's office, according to a report to be released on Thursday by the company, Checkpoint Software Technologies. In the preceding months, Nyakon, and that's N-A-I-K-O-N, Nyakon, had also used this to attack government agencies and state-owned technology companies in Indonesia, the Philippines, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Brunei, according to a checkpoint, which said the attacks underscored the breadth and sophistication of Chinese use of cyber espionage against its neighbors. So I have to manipulate the script from time to time. All right, on my touch screen. The Nyakon Group has been running a long-standing operation, during which it had updated its new cyber weapon time and time again, built an extensive offensive infrastructure, and worked to penetrate many governments across Asia and the Pacific, said Lotham Finkelstein, head of the Cyber Threat Intelligence Group at Checkpoint. What made these attacks so alarming, according to Checkpoint and other experts on Chinese cyber espionage, was the intrusive capabilities of Area Body, the group's new tool. Gel Shuid, founder of Checkpoint Software Technologies, the company says a Chinese hacking group has targeted the governments of Australia and a number of Southeast Asian countries. Area Body could penetrate any computer used to open the file in which it was embedded and quickly make the computers obey the hacker's instructions. That could include setting up secret, hard-to-detect line of communication by which data the targeted computer would flow to servers used by hackers. It could also replicate typing being done by target users, meaning that had the Australia attack not been detected, the tool would have allowed whoever controlled it to see what a staff member was writing in the Prime Minister's office in real time. The Australian government, which has been engaged in a contentious internal debate over concerns about Chinese interference, did not immediately respond to questions about the report. We know that China is probably the single biggest source of cyber espionage coming into Australia by a very long way, said Peter Jennings, a former Australian defense official who is the executive director of the Australian Strategic Policy Institute. Faced with such criticism in recent years, Beijing has maintained that it's opposed to cyber attacks of any kind, that the Chinese government and the military do not engage in hacking for the theft of trade secrets. Sometimes this application needs to be nudged a bit. China's cyber espionage efforts have shown no sign of relenting globally, as may be intensifying as tensions with Australia, the United States, and other countries have risen over trade, technology, and more recently disputes over the coronavirus pandemic. Experts say it's aimed to steal vast amounts of data from foreign governments and companies. This may be different in design, but those attacks all have the same purpose, said Matthew Brazil, an American former diplomat and author of a new book on Chinese espionage, referring to Arya Bhatti. According to Checkpoint, the hacker used Arya Bhatti was able to take over the computer used by an Indonesian diplomat at the embassy in Canberra, in the Australian capital. I'm probably going to get, Canberra. Anyways, the hacker found a document that the diplomat was working on, completed it, and then sent it to the staff member in the Prime Minister's office armed with the Arya Bhatti tool. It was discovered only because of simple human error. The hackers sent the email, dispatched it to the wrong address. When the server in the Prime Minister's office returned it with a note saying the email address had not been found, the transmission aroused suspicion that something in the original message was fishy, and authors of Checkpoint's report wrote that it prompted the investigation and revealed the attempted attack and its novel weapon. Prime Minister Scott Morrison of Australia, hackers used an Indonesian diplomat's computer to try and gain access to his office communications, Checkpoint said. Nikon was previously investigated by American cybersecurity company ThreatConnect, which in 2015 published a wide-ranging report on the group's connection to the People's Liberation Army. The hacking group appeared to operate as part of the military's 2nd Technical Reconnaissance Bureau, Unit 78020, based mainly in the southern city of Kunming, according to ThreatConnect. It is said to be responsible for China's cyber operations and the technological espionage in Southeast Asia and South China Sea, where Beijing is embroiled in a territorial dispute with its neighbors. A report, according to Kaspersky Lab, a Russian cybersecurity company, called the group one of Asia's most active, advanced persistent threats, a term that security experts often use to describe state-backed hackers who run long-term campaigns of intrusion. After the 2015 report disclosed Nikon's main cyber weapons, the group seemed to disappear. Mr. Brazil, the former diplomat, noted that China had since reorganized its cyber espionage forces, shifting some of the People's Liberation Army to the Ministry of State Security, effectively dividing their duties between military intelligence and diplomatic economic espionage. Checkpoint's report suggests that Nikon may have remained active, though it's not clear whether it has shifted out of the military chain of command. Since early 2019, according to Checkpoint's report, the group has accelerated efforts to expand the online infrastructure. The hacking group has purchased server space from Alibaba, the Chinese technology company, and registered domains on GoDaddy, an American web hosting firm. In one case, Nikon commandeered a server of a Philippines Department of Science and Technology and used it to help disguise the origin of the Nikon attack by making it seem as though it came from that server. The group would intrude into computers by holding or by hiding Arya Bhatti in Microsoft Word documents and files that install Microsoft Office programs. What made it difficult to discover was its ability to conceal itself much more effectively than other such tools. Area Body could attach itself as a parasite to various types of files so that it did not have a set pattern of movement. Its operators could change part of its code remotely so that after attacking one computer, Area Body would look different when it breached the next one. Such patterns are often telltale signs for security investigators. People sometimes fail to see the industrial strength capacity that China has to do this on a global scale, said Mr. Jennings, the Australian former defense official. We're talking about tens of thousands of people who are operating in their signals intelligence unit and the Ministry of State Security. China has both the capacity and a long demonstrated intent to do this wherever it thinks it can extract useful information. Checkpoint did not disclose all of the targets it said Nyakon had been infiltrated, but said that they included embassies, ministries, and state-owned corporations dealing with science and technology. Throughout our research, we found that the group adjusted its signature weapon to search for specific files by name within the compromised ministries, said Mr. Finkelstein, the Checkpoint expert. This fact alone strengthens the understanding that there was significant, well-thought infrastructure and pre-operation intelligence collection. Damien Cave contributed reporting.